Hi everyone, and welcome to our information session on our postgraduate provision within the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice. I'm Dr. Helen Earwaker, and I'm the Programme Area Leader for our campus postgraduate provision.
And hi everyone, I'm Dr. Gary Dalton, and I'm the Postgrad Programme Area Leader for distance learning students.
So, why do we think you should come and study for your MSc with us in the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice? Well, we have a really strong portfolio of specialist courses, and these courses span areas across criminal justice provision. Alongside those courses, we have a large number of academic staff teaching in different areas of specialism. And this diversity of academic staff is reflected in the courses that we deliver. Our staff have experience in academic research across these areas, but also in practice. And so they really bring the real world into the classroom for you to experience. Our learning community doesn't end with our academic staff. Our student community is also incredibly vibrant and diverse. And this is fantastic because it means that you benefit from this rich diversity of learning and experience from both those who are teaching you, but also from those who are learning alongside you. Our courses are aligned directly with the research areas that we cover across the school and are linked closely to our research centres and groups. And this means that the research that our academics are actively involved in and actively engaged in is reflected directly on your curriculum and is delivered to you as soon as it's carried out. So you're getting a real-time experience of the research that's being undertaken and an appreciation of how that's valuable to real-world practice in this research-led teaching approach that is embedded in what we do. And of course, a master's degree is valuable in many different ways. So you can come here with a background in a certain area at undergraduate study perhaps, or maybe as part of your professional career to date, and you can expand upon that knowledge, extend it and enhance what you already have. Or you might come to us having done something slightly different at undergraduate level or in your professional life, and you might decide that you want to focus on a new area of specialism. And of course, alongside that sits the range of different transferable skills that you'll gain from your degree and from your MSc. Skills in project management, skills in taking a research-informed approach that will set you up for success in the future, wherever it is that you go on to work and to apply this knowledge.
So within the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice, we are always trying to enhance student experience. And with this, we're excited to share with you some restructuring to our provision for 2023. And part of that restructure is to create strong course identities, maximise the benefit of our subject experts, align and integrate with the research centres that Helen's already mentioned, and also an exciting opportunity to introduce January starts to some of our teaching. These are alongside our September traditional intakes of students. Now, I appreciate that this restructure does create some slight variation from what's seen on the website, but this change will only be really noticeable when we look at the degree title changes, and we'll explain those as we go through today's talk. The application process, which I know is one of the most important for yourselves, stays the same, but admissions might contact you in the future if you select an exit award from that website that no longer exists.
So what is it that we are offering you for 23 and why is it that we're so excited about it? Well, we have a set range on campus of 5 degree titles, 5 MScs, and those are MSc in Criminal Psychology, MSc in Forensic Investigation, an MSc in International Criminal Justice and Intelligence, MSc in Cybercrime, Terrorism and Security, and an MSc in economic crime. And as Gary said, 2 of these courses will be run with both a September intake and a January intake, so 2 different points within the academic year that you can come and join us, depending upon what works for you. And all of our campus courses are available either part-time over 2 years or full-time over 1 year. So you can choose to study full-time or part-time, and for a couple of them you can decide to come and join us in January instead.
For the distance learning provision, to begin with for 2023, we're going to have 3 specialist degrees. So that's an MSc in Criminal Psychology and Victimology, an MSc in International Criminal Justice and Intelligence, and an MSc in Economic Crime. And then I'm excited to say that from 2024, we'll have an additional MSc in Terrorism and Security Management. For distance learning, all courses are part-time, and these take place over 2 years of study. And again, we'll show you the layout of these later on in the talk.
So what is it that you need to bring to us to be able to join us for one of our MScs? Well, we ask for a second class honours degree or equivalent in a relevant subject. Our list of relevant subjects is quite broad. What in essence we're getting at with that list is that we like people to come to us with a background that enables them to be able to do some academic writing, because that tends to be at the heart of a lot of what we do across the programme. Having said that, we consider these applications on a case-by-case basis, and there are ways in which we can mitigate that if needed. We will also consider applicants with strong and relevant work experience as well. We ask for English language proficiency at a minimum of IELTS band 6.5 with no component score below 6. But if you're thinking, oh, that isn't something that I've achieved yet, then you can do by successfully completing a pre-sessional English course before you start your course. So there is a way around that. So what is it that we're offering in terms of our new courses? What do these look like? So we're going to start off by running through those 5 campus courses for you, and then Gary will take you through the DL provision. So as I said, the campus courses are available full-time over 1 year or part-time over 2 years. And what you can see on the slide there is the outline and the modules of the course over 1 year. So you can see that in the first teaching block, so that's from September through until Christmas, there is a core module of psychology and offending behaviour. Then you've got an option that you can choose to run alongside that. Then after Christmas, another core module. So that's our subject specific content. You can also see that in teaching block 1, we have our research methods and research ethics module, which sets you up to then do your dissertation in teaching block 2, which extends through to August. So our postgraduate academic year runs from September through to August. It's a full calendar year. If you choose to study with us part-time, then you would do the subject-related content in year 1 and the research methods and your dissertation in year 2. And that will be the same across the courses as we run through them. So our MSc in Criminal Psychology is really looking to showcase the skills and the talent and the expertise that we have here within the school, and is aligned with our collaboration of forensic interviewing and the world-leading academics that are part of that. And so we pick up on those aspects and draw from that real-world research across the core modules on this one, which is really exciting. Our second course that I want to share with you is our MSc in Forensic Investigation. So again, the structure looks similar. This time round, you've got 2 core modules in the first teaching block, so Forensic Investigation and Crime Science, And then in the second teaching block, you have the opportunity to choose a module to take. This one has aspects of specialism and focus around forensic investigation, for example. So it's thinking about real-world techniques and how those work in practice. There's some practical elements to this, but it's also underpinned with all of those theoretical aspects and thinking about the importance of what is done in the real world and how we can make that better through the research that we're doing as well. Additionally, there's a holistic angle to this course in considering the importance of an evidence-based approach within forensic science, but also more widely across the criminal justice system. And that's really at the heart of our crime science module there in teaching block 1. The next course is our MSc in economic crime. And again, this is building upon our subject experts here within the school, an alignment with our newly formed research centre in this area. So again, really, real cutting edge knowledge and research informed teaching. On this one, we have our core modules in teaching block 1, economic crime and money laundering, and then we have some optionality in teaching block 2. So this allows you to tailor this one a little bit. You might be a little bit more interested in the intelligence aspects that run alongside an economic crime investigation, or you might want to focus on aspects of terrorism and security, or pick up aspects of fraud as well. So there's a range of different things here. The next course is our MSc in International Criminal Justice and Intelligence. And here we're combining two of our really popular areas that we run within the school. This one has quite a lot of optionality with it, so that you're free to expand your knowledge in the area that interests you most. So you can see quite a long list of different options there in teaching block 1. We also have some of our very popular modules there as core content. So criminal justice in a global context, which leads you beyond the UK and starts to get you thinking really globally about justice, and managing intelligence, which takes that into an intelligence context, which sits nicely alongside the criminal justice content. And this course is one of the two that is available for either the September start or the January start. So this is what the January start or the January intake would look like. You can see that the academic year is slightly longer. So this is over a 15-month period. So our students who join us in January join us within our teaching block 2 and would undertake the intelligence module first, their research methods provision. Then we have a break over the summer, and then come back in September of the following year to study criminal justice core module, and also one from that list of options, alongside beginning a dissertation that then extends beyond the teaching time there. So you can see that that's it's exactly the same content, but the order there is slightly different to fit within that 15-month structure with a January start. And our final course on campus is our MSc in Cybercrime, Terrorism and Security. So again, this one has a September and a January intake. The table there relates to the September start. We have our core cybercrime module in teaching block 1, cybercrime critical perspectives. And this is a really popular module that we run that takes students through the variety of different criminological aspects around cybercrime. It touches upon a lot of really topical and important issues, and it's delivered by people who are hugely passionate and very active at working within that field. So it's a fantastic module. You've then got the opportunity within that teaching block to choose from one of our options there. And then in teaching block 2, the terrorism and security aspects come into play with our terrorism and security module. And again, if you join us in January, Things look slightly different, but the content is overall the same. So you would start with terrorism and security and your research methods, break over the summer, and then come back to study our cybercrime, critical perspectives module, and an option of your choice.
So now I'm going to talk you through our provision for distance learning. And if you remember, we have 4 degrees in total, but one of those has a 2024 start. So for MSc Criminal Psychology and Victimology, you can see that because it's over 2 years, you have 1 module in Teaching Block 1 in September of Year 1 and 2 modules in Teaching Block 2, which is January. But just to explain that, you might be looking and saying there's 2 in Teaching Block 1 here, Study Skills Package. This is actually not an accredited module. This is just there to support students who might be struggling with academic writing, referencing, etc. So that is just an additional resource that students can use. So in first year, you would do Psychology and Offender Behaviour, and then in Teaching Block 2, so after Christmas, you do Working with Victims of Crime and Research Methods. Your Research Methods allows you to prepare for your dissertation in second year. So we start that nice and early. And then in second year is where you do your Specialist module. So this is where you can select from a choice. In this occasion, it's a choice of 3. So Investigation and Psychology, or Victimology, Vulnerability, Risk and Resilience, or Missing Persons Global Perspectives. And this particular degree or course really gives you an overview of the sort of offender side of psychology, and then also victims, which are often ignored. And we have some really good expertise within our department or within our school that can really support students with a greater understanding and knowledge of this particular topic. We then have our MSc International Criminal Justice and Intelligence, so the same name as the campus base, and some of the modules are the same, but we also have slightly different modules on the DL provision as well. So the same as the last one, Year 1 you would have your Study Skills Package, which is not part of the course, it's just there to support students. So your only module in Teaching Block 1 would be Criminal Justice in a Global Context. And then in Teaching Block 2 of Year 1, you would have Managing Intelligence and Research Methods, again to prepare you for your dissertation. And then in second year, you would pick from, in Teaching Block 1, your Specialist module, so either International and Transnational Offending or Missing Persons, a Global Perspective, and then you would do your dissertation. This particular course is aimed at those who want to get a global understanding of criminal justice, including some areas of law, and then also that intelligence side that has been really popular with students since I've been in the school, actually. So it's a very popular module, and it forms part of your title on this course as well. The third one that's running for this year, so for 2023, is MSc Economic Crime. And this module, again, it's going to sound very repetitive now, but you have your Study Skills Package in Year 1, Teaching Block 1, plus your core module, which is Economic Crime. And then in Teaching Block 2 of Year 1, you have Money Laundering and Research Methods. And then in your second year, you get to pick your Specialist module, so Counter-Corruption and Fraud Examination, or International and Transnational Offending. And then similar to Helen, I should say that your dissertation runs from January to August. So in your second year, it's technically a full academic year, whereas in your first year, you'll tend to finish in June. And you can hear probably outside right now the emergency services, and I can say that that is not to do with our courses at the moment, but we do work with the emergency services, and we'll talk about that at the end of the course as well. So just the final one that I want to talk about, which we're really excited about actually, is our Terrorism and Security Management course, and this will run from 2024. In Teaching Block 1, Year 1, you would have Terrorism and Security as your core module. And then in Teaching Block 2 of Year 1, you would have Security Management and your Research Methods. And then in your final year, you would be able to pick. So you could either pick from the Global Landscape of Cybersecurity or Managing Serious Crime Investigations. Both of those are really interesting, but give you very different angles to explore based on what you want to do. Again, your dissertation would be from January to August on that one. So on all of the DL, you have 2 years with your core modules being in year 1, in addition to research methods. And then in year 2, you have your specialist modules, so one that you select from a choice of options. And then in teaching block 2, you always have your dissertation. And that runs until August.
So what do we deliver for you in terms of your teaching? Well, I'll talk here about the campus provision, and then Gary will move on to talk about some of the things that are more specialist to the way that you learn via distance learning. But on campus, we obviously have your traditional kind of learning setting of lectures, but we tend to do much more small group teaching within our MSc provision. So you tend to learn through a seminar or workshop style environment where there is a smaller number. It's very much discussion based. It's all about getting involved and being part of that learning process yourself. Having said that, we do have some lectures, particularly on our research methods module, where we bring all of the students across the courses that I've described together. So that would be a slightly bigger setting. Our workshops and seminars take different forms, so we might have guest speakers, we might have guest speakers in person, we might have guest speakers online who are being broadcast to you in your teaching room. And I think this is really brilliant because it means that you can benefit from someone across the other side of the world, but you can also have those in-person discussions with each other and with the person who is leading your module. So there's some great opportunities that brings. You might, depending on the course, you might have some practical classes as well. I touched upon aspects of that within our forensic investigation course. So you might get involved in investigating mock crime scenes, learning some of those practical evidence recovery skills or evidence analysis skills that are really important. We also make the most of different technologies as well across our courses. So we use some virtual reality in places to give you different experiences and to help you explore different types of contexts and to think about the way in which you can learn through doing things, but perhaps not physically somewhere that we can't take you. You might learn similarly through using something called Hydra, which is an immersive learning environment in which you're fed different pieces of information as a team, and you have to do some real-time decision making and strategizing, and our students really love getting involved in that across our modules on different courses. As I've said, we have a real range of guest speakers, and we have a variety of different dedicated learning spaces across campus, which we use for our teaching.
So for distance learning students, we have slightly different needs from our students. So for example, a lot of students will be working, professionals. Some of you will have childcare responsibilities. I don't know if some of you have seen our promotional video, but we actually have our very own Noah starring in that video as a child who was, as a student who had a child who was studying with us. And it's just all about being independent and having that flexible learning approach. So we often try and incorporate workbooks so that students can work at their own pace, always with the support of a module coordinator who leads that module and engages with students and supports them. We also have what we call discussion boards, where students can post questions to each other and also members of staff who monitor those discussion boards and engage with them. We also have Padlets. The only reason I mention those are they're anonymous. So sometimes students like to post anonymously, and we support that. And again, they are monitored by staff. And then we also have what we have called online live content. So these are 6 hours per module of live content that students can turn up at and have that lecture experience. And what's really nice about these are all sessions are recorded, so any student that can't attend one of those sessions is able to watch it in their own time and then utilize one of the other methods of engagement, for example, the discussion boards, to ask questions of the lecturer. So in terms of assessments, this is where we actually overlap a lot, because our assessments are very similar regardless of whether you are a distance learning student or a campus-based student. So just for example, we have poster presentations, oral presentations, including group and individual presentations. We have essays, we have reports which are more work-based. We have some quizzes, which are multiple choice exams. Self-reflections are really important now in academia and in research, so getting you to reflect on what you've learned during the process of the particular assessment. Research proposals, these often help you design your ideas for your dissertation and get feedback before you start. And as you can see, the 15,000 word dissertation, not to scare you, remember you have lots of support across all of these assessments, and we'll talk about the support in a future slide. But these are just the types of way that we assess you. And I think it's important to showcase the variety here, because we're not just going to be assessing you through essays. I know some people don't like those, and we're not just going to be doing exams. We typically avoid exams other than quizzes, just so you're aware as well. So I talked about there that we have a lot of different assessments, and what's really important, and something I'm very proud of actually within this school, is that we offer a lot of support to our MSc students, again, regardless of whether you're on campus or distance learning. I think sometimes there is a stereotype that distance learning students are forgotten, and that's something that we don't, or we make sure doesn't happen here. So again, you would have a dedicated learning support tutor, and this is academic and research. So whilst you're doing your degree, you will have support from members of staff that can help you with academic writing, that can help you with referencing, that can help you with research methods, perhaps designing a questionnaire or a survey, helping you analyse that data. We have dedicated members of staff within our school and faculty that can support you with that. We also have a dedicated faculty librarian called Mystery. She is probably the most knowledgeable person you will ever meet, and again, she just loves to help students and is very open to helping you find articles, to get books, or just helping you with referencing as well. We also have specialist student engagement officers, and our school actually has two of these, Lee and Rachel. And both of these engagement officers are there to support you. And that can be to celebrate your success, or it can also be to support you if you're struggling. And that can be with workload, with personal issues. But please note that we are here to support you, and we have those trained staff that are able to provide you with that support. You also, as a master's student, you're encouraged to attend some of our department research groups and centres. So, for example, Helen mentioned guest lectures, and we will often have guest lectures within these research groups that you can be invited to. And therefore, you're getting exposure to leading research that's going on that is current, and can also be a great way of helping for ideas for dissertations, future projects, or just something that you're working on at the moment as well. You also have a personal tutor. It says /dissertation supervisor, and that's because as soon as you join our school, you will be given an academic member of staff to support you. And then once you select your dissertation topic, you will be allocated a dissertation supervisor, and they become your personal tutor. And that's just because you spend more time with that person. They get to know you. You'll be having weekly, bi-weekly meetings with them sometimes to discuss your proposal and dissertation. So it's just a great way for them to keep in touch with you and make sure you're being supported during this master's journey. Also have a wide variety of departmental and faculty resources. So wellbeing and counselling, finance, there's a long list of them that if you join the school, we will provide you with.
So what will you do afterwards? And I suppose that seems perhaps a little bit silly given that you haven't yet started with us. But I think it's important to consider the range of different options that are available to you. And they are really wide-ranging. And our students go on to do a huge number of things. be that within specific areas or domains that link to the subject of their MSc, or be that in wider professional employment. There really is a huge range. We've picked upon a few different areas to highlight here on the slide, but this is by no means exhaustive. People go off and do all sorts of different exciting things, which is really great. At the top there, we've talked about policing, careers within policing, so careers as police officers, or careers as civilian staff within policing. And of course, that can include job roles such as crime scene investigators, working within that scientific support unit, as well as the more traditional sides of policing. We have people who go on to analyse data and to really drive some of those research skills that they have learnt with us. So crime analysts across a variety of different employers. Probation and job roles within the probation sector. A lot of our students have a strong interest in probation when they join us and go on to pursue careers in that direction. Working within the courts, working within the prison service, all subjects that we touch upon within our teaching across the courses. It might be that you decide you want to go into academia and research. You might want to continue that academic journey, thinking about how you can build on the knowledge base or the evidence base that exists within your area of particular interest. And of course, we can help you to do that. We can help to support you and encourage you on those next steps. We have those who go and work in third sector environments and charitable organisations as well, and there's an awful lot of work within those areas that can be linked to the subjects studied here. Of course, there's private sector employment, and that can fill a huge range of different job roles related to criminal justice, including private forensic science providers as well. Lots of people go on to work within government departments, and again, a huge range of different job roles, often with that kind of analysis type focus, which is so important. And of course, we talked about our intelligence module earlier that we offer on our courses, and we have graduates who have gone on to work as intelligence officers for a variety of different organisations too. So hopefully what we've done is given you a little bit of a taster for the content that we offer. Hopefully that's been helpful and informative. Please do contact either of us if you have any further questions, or come along to our next open evening event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.